in the GMI Discord? I just want to make sure I have the right day.
That is absolutely correct. We're going to do a 30-minute gap after the DAO call ends, and then we'll kick things off at 9:30 Mountain Standard in the GMI server. I'll drop links and bring it up again as well. But yeah,
Nice.
that is correct.
Yeah, the GMI server has been quiet for a long time. So when I saw you tag me in that, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
It's been far too long. It's been mostly my fault, and I feel guilty about how long GMI has kind of been mothballed. But yeah, we just got quiet, but we're not done.
Yeah, Sam, can you guys hear me okay?
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
So
How's
we can
everyone
expect
doing?
more GMI time. Mike Callion was just telling us the GMI server's going to have something here in a little bit. You want to repeat
Oh.
that, Mike Callion, as people come in?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is right after today's DAO call, we're gonna do a 30-minute rest, and then we're gonna fire up today's GMI Fireside Roast. So this is gonna be just like it sounds. We're gonna essentially just clown on each other and case it up a little bit, and just kind of blow off some steam and have some good-hearted fun inside of the GMI server. At the same time, though, there is an intention from now until then. Anyone that burns any fake gotchi of any type at all, we're going to track all those addresses and entries of burned gotchis, and then we're going to do some giveaways for some bags of gotchi goodies for anyone that burns some fake gotchis today to keep the fire warm.
Dope. Any specific Aavegotchis or anything good?
Anything's good. We'll definitely give some laurels and some credit to the folks that burn things that are a little bit higher tier. I've got some soju stuff that I'm just kind of ready to sacrifice. And so there's going to be some different tiers of things that people are burning. We'll kind of bring notice to that. But genuinely, any fake gotchi. Right now, I'm looking in the bazaar, and fake gotchi floors are something like 5 ghosts for some of the simple ones. In the auction, there's some other ones as well. And so we haven't really had an event that ever encouraged or rewarded for the burning of fake gotchi. So we want to kind of start kicking off that mentality.
It's that end of year clean out, right? Seasonal. Like get rid of all your extra
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, gotta start making a tradition out of this.
I love this concept. So if I burn something now, because I won't be around an hour from now, what do I do? Just share a
Yeah, so
transaction?
yeah, exactly correct. Yeah, so you'll be we're doing it in 2 different tiers here for people that have issues with time zones and whatnot. So there's an early burn category, and then there's the event burn. And so if you burn something right now, just shoot me the transaction ID or drop it in chat, and I'll just put it in my little spreadsheet here that I'm tracking on, and you'll be in the early burn category. And that's true for anybody that burns anything from now until the event. You'll be in the early burn, and then from the event until the end of its event, we'll do the main burn.
Cool. All right. I might mess around with that here while we're chatting.
We'll be watching the contracts as soon as I see it all start kind of getting a little active there. I think, oh gosh, who was that? Supreme Pablo was saying he's got 50 or so set aside to roast. So we'll be watching. Hopefully, we get some energy going here and we can get some of these fakes start consuming. I just want to put a personal invite out there to phase 2 because GMI is definitely not dead. We are just forgotten. We'll be fine.
I mean, another good point about that. I love how the UI at Fake Gotchis will track how many have been burned. So as long as you use the UI, if I remember right, Dan, it's like it can't track things outside the DApp. So use the DApp to do your burn, and it'll actually be reflected in the UI there. It's quite nice.
Exactly correct. Yeah, y'all have built some great features for the burn mechanics right baked in, and so we just want to make sure that people are actually aware of those and realizing that there's some functionality in that part of it as well.
You know, it's funny. I gave away a lot of fake gotchis on Orium Game Night, and I actually have some friends who have become gotchi gang like as of yesterday. A couple friends, and they just messaged me and they're like, "Fake gotchi burn," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've transferred you like 20 of my fake gotchis." So yeah, you have some stuff to burn. This should be fun.
That's pretty cool for somebody who's like one day into Aavegotchi. They're like burning stuff already.
Yeah, they were asking me a lot of questions about everything. I was like, look, come to the Discord. They'll help you out. Apparently, like people made some money off Gone, and a lot of people were like, just jumping into projects they weren't into in the Polygon ecosystem. So I've had like 4 or 5 friends tell me this week that they bought a Gotchi, their first Gotchi. So it's been really cool seeing that like liquidity event is kind of flowing through the system.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like, I was thinking about that not too long ago, how there haven't been like some big W's on Polygon recently, and or in a while, and then Gone has kind of had its moment here. So, you know, when people are winning and they got a little extra, it's like more likely that people are going to explore the ecosystem, right? Because if you don't,
Where
then
can you see the price of Gone?
Dex Screener and Dex Tool has the
Bird
price.
Oh, it's on
Bird's Eye is
CoinGecko
really
now
good too.
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it got listed on CoinGecko also. Yeah, it was an interesting week for it because there was a huge like, all right, I don't little controversy, but there's a community called Alphas, and I know Goobs knows them well because sometimes we butt heads with them because they say they're the top project on Polygon. We constantly argue that that's not true, but we say we don't really argue with them because we know it's not true. They found out about the Gone like basically airdrop, and then internally allegedly one of their people's basically coordinated like a pump and dump on Gone, where he basically told everybody when it got close to like removing 1-0 for everybody in that community that was watching to dump, and it dumped hard, and then they went on a space and were talking trash. So it's just been a weird week around that coin, but it's surviving, and it just got onto CoinGecko I think like 6 hours ago.
That 65% top holder wallet has me really nervous though.
It was revoked. That's the LP, because what they did was I think they dropped 50% of the supply to 20 different Polygon projects. And then, yeah, we are talking about this stupid S coin, Light Piglet. Yeah, they dropped it to 50%. Then they revoked the contract and I think burnt the LP. So the top holder right now is the Treasury wallet. So they're actually in discussions on like creating a DAO, like having it run like in a more fair and organized way.
Well, before we get too deep in the spaces here, want to give everyone a little Christmas present. Maybe some of you might not care, but I'm gonna deploy it now. In about a few minutes, you guys will be able to refresh the page on Aavegotchi, dap.aavegotchi.com, and you should see something pretty neat. So give it a few minutes. I'll let you know when it's ready. But I'm deploying the gift right now, guys. I think you'll enjoy it.
Santa
Santa,
Dan.
yeah, Santa Dan in motion.
It's probably the #1 requested feature on the DApp right now.
Oh
I'm
my
curious
gosh.
if anyone can guess what it is.
I think you didn't even clue me in this. I mean, I've seen it in development. I didn't think it was going to ship so early. Let's see. I could be wrong.
Is it offers? No, offers is already there.
It's not offers. Those can come pretty soon. It's not offers.
Messaging. We can directly message the person or the wallet.
I see what looks like.
Did Kronos get it?
Tell me when to refresh.
I'll tell you when to refresh. Yeah, it's gonna take a few minutes. Kronos actually did get it right.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that was what I was thinking in my head.
You
I've
got
seen
there's
it.
some there
You
definitely
guys know.
some dark mode warriors for the win. Well done, friends. You got
Bro,
one.
it's so smooth and so
They're
nice.
extra.
I'm not even a dark mode like aficionado, but I'm really liking it. It really makes the app experience nice. I'm like going back to white mode on some other sites now. I'm like, whoa, it's pretty bright.
Very bright site, and I
Yeah.
don't mind it, but I think, yeah, let's be honest, a lot of people want their dark mode, and oh, it's awesome
'Cause
that
we're
shipping.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're appealing to all these gamers now. Like gamers, they're
Yeah,
not
risk their
gonna
eyes.
mess with light mode. They need their dark mode.
Yeah, where's this dark mode at? I'm like desperately like trying to look for the button.
Yeah, it's coming. It'll be just
Oh,
a few
gotcha.
moments
Still
here
getting pushed.
as it's
Gotcha.
deploying.
Yeah,
this
we
is
need
great.
that dark mode, man. I'm all about dark mode, whatever platform. It's like I gotta switch it on right away.
Yeah.
The other thing is the designer that Dan's been working really meticulously with on this joined the team about 3 months ago. So some of the finer aesthetics you'll see that in like little adjustments to even the current like light mode, that's him. But he's done an excellent job with this dark mode. I think you guys are going to be pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
There's team effort there, but Dan and this gentleman's been working very
Yeah,
hard.
just general improvements to the Bazaar UI. I know we're still not quite there. There's still a little bit more to go, but it's really feeling like a nice UI now, getting close to where we want to be with the marketplace UI. Now dark mode and a couple other just quality of life improvements for some of you guys with bigger monitors. That's going to help. I think this should be a nice update. Hopefully it will. If you're still not happy with it, do let us know. We'll keep working on it, but really trying to make the DApp experience nice for everyone. There are still a few more things that we have planned that will hope to even streamline the app more for you guys. But yeah, this is so far what we got here in the last few weeks of the year. Hope you guys enjoy it. I myself have been using it in dark mode ever since we started working on this functionality.
One who doesn't love a nice surprise stealth development? That's always fun.
Just a few more moments.
Can we talk about the release that you guys did earlier this week? I think it was earlier this week. For 2024, where you kind of mentioned, I don't want to call it a roadmap, but sort of.
It's a pre-roadmap, pre-2024 kind of preview of what some of the things we're planning. Obviously, not an exhaustive list. There's things that didn't make the cut, but will still be done. But we wanted to do a nice kind of trim little 5 little listicles type article, laying out 5 of the new developments, things that have not been really talked about before. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Ooh, that was well done, man. The glitter staking 2.0, that got my attention. And I know I've seen in the chat a few other people being like, what's this gonna look like? You mentioned ETH in there, so yeah, it's definitely waiting for the alpha on that one.
Yeah, we want to shake things up a little bit, you know. In the current market, I think Aavegotchi, I'm so bullish on where we are as a project, but there's a few things that need to be adjusted, I think, to make onboarding a little bit easier for people, like outside of our Gotchi gang that are, you know, hardcore members of the community. So we want to make that barrier to entry a little bit lower by doing some adjustments to some of the ecosystem, which interestingly will open up some possibilities on the staking side as well. So we'll definitely, that's one of the first things we'll have some alpha for you guys on in the new year. We've thought through a lot of this already and have documented it internally. So the next step is really just to take it to the DAO. We're going to be making a proposal for it. And there's 2 proposals that kind of are dependencies for actually implementing Ghost Staking 2.0. But as long as those pass, or if they don't pass, we can figure some other things out. But yeah, we really want to reinvigorate the staking side of Aavegotchi because it's such a cool part of the ecosystem that we did when we sunset Friends. You know, we still have staking with the glitter staking, but I think we could do more. I think there's more interesting stuff that could be done to really align Ghost and the greater Aavegotchi ecosystem. All right, it should be live now. If you guys go to dapp.aavegotchi, I think you do need to sign in first, and then you get the option. I think we'll probably fix that. But if you sign in, you should go to your profile at the top right, and you'll see dark mode.
Oh,
Holy
that's
shit.
nice.
I'm in. Ooh.
That's nice.
Oh God, I feel like I'm on a large monitor, so I feel like I was getting a sunburn from my computer.
Yeah, same.
Like, oh God, it just like brought down the level of the light in my room a notch. This is great.
Like a tanning bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
The one suggestion I have, and I don't know if anybody else, because I'm kind of messing around with my profile. The wearables, the background on the wearables are now
Mm-hmm.
black, so that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
them harder to see.
Yeah, I noticed that a couple days ago. So we're gonna do a pass, maybe adding in some sort of background or something to help offset that a little bit. Most of them look really good, but there's one I was looking at the other day. I was like, I think it was like the J hairpiece and like the little pump goatee that are like black anyway. Yeah, it is kind of hard to see those. So we're definitely
Oh,
gonna
narrow is just like you can't even see it now.
yeah, there's definitely a little bit more work to do on that.
Yeah, I'd
But
argue
go to the
some of the
games
wearables look
page.
great, like the Santa hat. I really like that, and
Hmm.
the liquidator eyes. Yeah, some of them actually the contrast works out better for some of them. But yeah, I could see what you mean. I have to make that change.
Yeah.
This is awesome though. Yeah, you guys got the right hue, you know.
Hmm.
Speaking of those Santa hats, everybody noticed the 3D version, I think, this last week, right? If you're on Twitter, at least on X, the 3D versions of these wearables are coming together step by step, and the Santa hat's definitely. I think it turned out great. Took some
Yeah.
work, but
The
in
fabric
the
looks
end,
so nice, like luxurious. Like I need that hat IRL now.
I feel like I can feel the felt, like you
Yeah.
can like it looks like felt.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. Thrax says he FOMO'd into the Santa hat because of the 3D version. That's the thing. Like now, when I'm in the bazaar, I'm like, oh my god, what is that one gonna look like in 3D?
Yeah.
Because they're making progress, but it's not the fastest pipeline. Like I was hoping we'd be done by end of year, but there's still work to do. Like each one is getting a lot of love. At least we can say that for sure.
Yeah, Slama did drop a very fire video. It's basically made an area in the Gotchiverse where you can kind of test your wearable, and he was showing a preview of that before we went on break. So that'll probably come out on X sometime this week, next week. Really cool. I mean, they're looking really good, and they're very functional too. Like he's built in a whole emote system, and it's got the different wearables you can like attack with them or defend with them. Like they're the reason it's taken so long is because there's a lot of detail to actually make these like uh, not just like these 3D pictures basically, but actually bring them to life in each game and think about how they're going to be used. So all that will be available like to developers that want to use the Aavegotchi like Unity SDK. So for games like Drop, you guys are moving to Unity, you'll have all these like wearables and the emotions and all that built in that you'll just be able to pull directly from the SDK. It's going to be huge.
Like I wonder what would be the hardest like textures to get down for these 3D gotchis. You know, I think maybe like hair, if I was to guess, like getting like the imperial mustache curls just right, or things like that would
I
probably take
mean,
a lot of work.
yeah, part of it, it's the wearables. I mean, and making them like have fidelity to the 2D version. So we go back and forth, like how close should it look to the 2D? And there's examples where we had to go closer or less, like more far away. But also just the movement of the Gotchi has been something that has taken quite a bit of time to like try and get right. Like initially they were too I think they were like too loose feeling. They felt like one of those uh I don't know what you even call like the things you see outside like auto stores where like they're like flapping around in the wind,
Oh
and
yeah.
then and then they went the other way, and then they became like a toothpaste and got really hard and didn't really move. So it's like a trying to find the nice middle ground between those two. And I think they've gotten pretty close. It's taken some R&D, but definitely improving. So the new version of Gotchi Guardians is, I mean, it's using the latest version of the Gotchi, and it's got quite a few animations in there already that you can't really see that well because it's not that zoomed in. But that there will be a mode coming with the next version of Guardians where you'll actually be able to turn the UI off and like zoom around a little bit more, which is going to be neat. That'll be really, Thrax is going to be happy. We can make all sorts of cool cinematics from that. So yeah, lots, definitely 3D gotchis, making good progress, but a little bit slower than we had hoped. But still, yeah, it's making good progress on it.
We're at the end of 2023. I think we're gonna have one more hangout next week. But if you were to, well, maybe I'll save this question for next week. Are we having a hangout next week, by the way?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna ask you
Yeah,
what
I'll
your
be here.
favorite thing
Yep.
from this year is, but let's leave that to next week.
All right. Oh yeah, it gives me some time to think about it too. So many.
Yeah, because you guys have been shipping. Like I see other projects talk, and they're talking about what they're doing, and they've done like 1/9 of what you've done in like the last 3 weeks. So it's like it's just so like trying to even think back on all the stuff that the DAO and Pixelcraft did together this year. It's a lot of stuff. It's like crazy. So good job for y'all. Like you just been killing it.
Yeah, man, it's fun, It's just fun working on this project, like to put things into perspective. I mean, we're working on like digital ghosts that we can pet on a smart contract. Like it's so wild. Just all of crypto is wild, but especially projects like this is just like it's just crazy to think that so many people's time and energy is being spent on this project. But it's cool. It's I think we're going places. This has been such a year of transition, but I think we're finally getting close to where we need to be.
Hey, I don't disagree, and I guess this is a decent segue here too. So today's the fireside roast. We'll be doing that after the event, and that's kind of the goofy clowning around. But I'm on a roll here. Once again, GMI's not dead. We're reviving. We've been hibernating, and so I want to do something else next week and in near future. You're kind of reading my mind here because we've had such a good year, and I want to kind of normalize an end of the year recap award category show. So it's a working name, and I'm open to anyone's suggestions on this, and happy to have any help that wants to. But I'm thinking something like the Lickies, so kind of like the Dundies or the Emmys, and I want to kind of create some different categories, sourced through the community here, and then do some community polling before next weekend's end of the year, last of the year hangout, and do some kind of category kings for the year's progress. And from Pixcraft side, community side, artist side, just from all kinds of different walks of the Aavegotchi project.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Who's gonna MC it? Because you're gonna have to. If it's gonna be like the Dundies, you got to make it entertaining.
I mean, I can think of one person that comes right to my mind. What are you doing?
What am I doing next week? I have no idea. It's gonna be what, Saturday, same time, like at the
Yeah.
hour,
Yep.
like down the
Exactly.
road? I'm available. If you give me the
Mhm.
information, I can talk. I'm good at talking.
Dope. Yeah. We'll run something together. It'll be fun. I'd love to have you there.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I've been like just trying to focus more, even like 100 times more than previously on Web3 and all the stuff, because we're hyping into a new cycle. I feel like we're starting to see across the board, but especially in this project, like all these innovations start to come to life, and like the fruition of all these like dreams and goals are happening like in the next 6 months. I feel very confident of that. You're seeing games. We got a mobile free to play game. People can go and use a liquidator. Technically, that was on the roadmap before, right? You get to play a game as a liquidator. You could do that now, Licky's Escape. So that's the way I like to think about it. And we keep like kind of churning forward. And it's just exciting. So I'm like doubling down, going like all in on it because this is the right space to be in, I feel like.
Well, and the timeline is good too. Like you said, we peaked last year at ETH Denver for sure with all of our community sourced media efforts, And all, you, me, and Hefe, for all of our own independent reasons, it just, we had a little bit of a pullback there. We all had different things going on. So for the last couple of months, I've definitely been less aware than I have been, but I'm getting that sense, from still being within this community, coming to the Hangouts and whatnot, you still get a sense of FOMO. You can start, you've been here long enough, you can start to read the writing on the walls, and you can feel the energies are increasing. You can feel not only for this project, but the whole ecosystem and the whole space at large. I can feel that there's opportunities on the horizon very near, and I don't want them to slip past us. And so our awareness and our skill set has to be reawakened and resharpened.
Yeah, 100%. I would tell everybody also, because it was just announced this week, I co-host and host the Polygon Hangout, which is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard every day, Monday through Friday. But Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to be going back to old programming called the Echo Chamber, which is led by Big Nil, who is the Polygon ecosystem head of Magic Eden. So the audience for the show has grown significantly. We just did it for the first time this week after a 2-month break. And me as a co-host, and we're getting like 80, 90 people in there, all Polygon, people outside of Polygon. So, if you're free in the mornings, feel free to show up. If you want to talk, raise your hand. Everybody's welcome. We're just usually shooting the breeze and talking about the news of the day, but I always find, artful ways of sneaking Aavegotchi in there. So the more Gotchi gang is seen in the audience, the better. Like there was a knockout round of Community Wars. I was told I came to the space just to support last night, and apparently it was Aavegotchi versus Troglodyte Society. And I tried to drum up support, and we did well. We lost by 1 vote. It was 69 votes, 34 for, 35 against, but very close. So the Polygon community on X is starting to bubble up a lot more. So I'm just trying to rally the troops. If you're around on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's a good time to like meet other projects and get up and talk and get known if you're a Gotchi gang member who wants to be more known out there. So just raise your hand.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a couple more spaces turning up on Polygon lately, right? Because there's Polygon Lab. There's a few different ones, right? So which space are you guys doing? Is it a run by Polygon, or is it a you said Magic Eden, right?
Yeah, before the Magic Eden space, the Echo Chamber was run by Magic Eden. It was run by
Okay.
Metaverse Johnny and then a couple other places. Metaverse Johnny, now that they're bringing the Bored Ape Yacht Club over, the Ethereum marketplace to Magic Eden, he's been focused more on other stuff. So, and plus the other guy, the other host had a baby. So me and 2 other people, one of the guys is part of the team that launched Gone. We started our morning show in the same slot. So we've been going for like 2.5 months. The guy who had the kid came back, but he's only available Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're going to be doing it. So it's like he works for Magic Eden, but it's not a Magic Eden show. Like it's not specifically Magic Eden. And then the Polygon Lab stuff, it's usually Polygon Commons that does a lot of spaces. And those tend to be Mondays, I think at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, but they might be quiet right now. So the space I'm talking about is more community ran Polygon spaces, so it tends to be all like founders from different projects.
Oh, that's
Dan
cool.
was actually in the program before, but the one I'm talking about is just for Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's going to be like a larger morning show, essentially.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, it does work. Like just me being in these spaces, like I said, I try to artfully drop Aavegotchi as much as possible. They don't realize I'm a plant, I'm like a spy, just trying to feed them a little Gotchi gang stuff. And it's worked. Like there's been like 7 or 8 conversions in this time period where I've spent 0 money, but just have made friends with people. And they all like slowly, like as I talk about it more, they realize how much stuff we've done. And a lot of these projects that are new, we don't have to see them as enemies. They're looking up to us. So I've been very like, try to be out there and to be an ambassador of sorts and talk to all these people. And Goobs is great at this too, like being an educational source and just trying to get people, come through. So it's working. It's working.
Yeah, there was that like mantra or whatever a couple months ago, like the crypto punks of Polygon, and I think that still rings true. Like if you're it's still very obtainable right now. If you own some NFTs on Polygon, like grab a Gotchi. Like there's a ton of great ones on the floor, right? So yeah, I totally feel that.
You're not kidding about that there, Hefe. I added 2 to my armory yesterday, man. There's some really good deals if you go digging through the bottom.
Really? Yeah.
Well, the funnest part has been these new friends figuring out the auction system because their minds are blown. They're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Look, lose. You can lose. You can win and you win, but you can lose and you can win." So it's like
Dude,
it's just
GBM is
different.
so amazing.
It
So
really
it's
is.
like our most popular feature in this DApp right now. It's so fun.
Yeah, all the
Tell me
people
why
that
it hasn't blown up. Why hasn't GBM spread across the space like wildfire?
it's starting to. I was able to get
Yeah,
them in
it's good
contact
now.
with the Courtyard team, so I'm hoping that they bring Courtyard, GBM to Courtyard. And I've told Magic Eden, like, yeah, if you want to do something, do it with GBM because it really does like light things up in terms of volume and interest. So we'll see what happens. Actually, Coder Dan, we haven't talked at all about this, and we're 34 minutes past the hour. The NFT mint that's going to potentially be happening. Let me go back to the thing because I saw it. You're talking about the console mint, right?
Oh, the
Where is
founders
it?
pass, right?
Founders Pass, yes,
Yeah.
the Aavegotchi
Yep.
Gaming Console NFT mint to celebrate the launch of Aavegotchi Gaming Center and Gotchi Chain. We are planning a special NFT mint sale plus airdrop. These NFTs will be an important but not required part of the achievement reward system offered in the official Pixelcraft Studios gaming titles SFA, Gotchiverse, and Gotchi Guardians, enabling play-to-own rewards and gamified unlocks. So, can you tell us more about those NFTs? The first thing I figured this is not a DAO initiative, so we have no business in saying whether or not we should be minting because this is actually outside of gotchis and land and all that, which is great. But can you tell us more about this mint?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's still a lot of it is still being finalized, although we're pretty far along with it. I mean, the intention of the mint, obviously, it's not gonna dilute any core assets, like you said. It's not wearables, it's not gotchis. We want to continue expanding the offerings that we have in this ecosystem and tie them into the games a little bit more. We got these fantastic games coming out. We got Guardians, we got Spirit Force Arena, especially, and then other games we'll be able to link into this as well later. But we want to. There's a lot of activity happening on chain right now with all sorts of like these drops happening, and it's a great way to do initial user acquisition and to like get more eyeballs on the project. I feel like right now in this climate, like if you're not doing a mint, you're not relevant, and that's a problem for not just us, but really like any project out there trying to get eyeballs on it. So one of the intentions of this mint is to just get as many eyeballs as possible on Aavegotchi and what we're doing and these games that we're building. So part of it, like the blog post mentions, will be an airdrop to existing Gotchi asset holders, and another part of it will be probably a whitelisted process, whether it's a GBM auction or like another kind of drop. Where personally, I'm leaning towards GBM auction just because it's a lot of chaotic fun, especially if we can reduce the bots for the drop. Like the problem with GBM is that it doesn't do well for these kind of always on type of mints that we have, for example, in the bazaar. It doesn't really do well with that, but it does really do well with drops that are kind of handled more hands-on. So the point is to get have something for people outside of our ecosystem to talk about. Like they don't have. We're building all these fantastic games. We have an amazing community. We have everything. We're doing everything right, but it's hard for people to exactly like latch on to what we're doing because we don't have something like easy dangling for them to talk about. So going into next year and like around ETH Denver time, we would love to have some big activities going on that we can have people point to and say, hey, like if you haven't checked out Aavegotchi in a while, they're doing some crazy shit over there, and they're doing this mint, and here's how you get on the whitelist, play their games, a lot of basically typical NFT marketing, but done for a very legit project that has a 3-year history instead of like some random project that's new on the market that no one knows about. So that's kind of the intention of the mint, why we want to do it. And there'll definitely be some airdrops for existing holders, and none of it is the intention is not to be dilutionary. We want to create a new asset class for Aavegotchi that pertains and relates back to the games that we're creating.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, honestly, our mints happened before the influx of people that came earlier this year, but also Reddit.
Hmm.
There's been there are members of Gotchi Gang right now that just joined like a couple days ago who came through the Reddit portal into Polygon. So there are a lot of eyes looking for new stuff. And we're well respected. So I think if we put out anything, people will be interested, even with just a modicum of marketing. Because the
Hmm.
Polygon ecosystem is very tight knit, and they're down to support. Like Matic Man did a mint this week, and he was able to sell out in like a couple hours just because he's an OG in the ecosystem and everybody knows Crypto Crew and the other projects he's been associated with. I think
I
if we
bought one of
pair him up,
those in the future, and I don't like the art necessarily, and I don't see his roadmap. But you're right, on pure support alone, I definitely minted one of those.
yeah, I minted 10. The art, I like the art. I thought the art was pretty good. There are some that are a little weird. There's some whips and chains ones in there that we saw some jokes about, but I dig the art. And Matic Man is a
I
legend.
got
So I look
I
forward to
got one
seeing
of
what
those.
he does.
I got one of those weird ones, man.
Yeah, some of them, well, they're villains. So some weird, villains get a little weird. You gotta don't be so judgy, Mike Callium.
I
I'm
don't
not
I
here
don't think I
to
saw that one. What's it? Where did
not.
you mint it?
There's the Legion of
It's on
Gloom.
Magic. It's
Yeah, Legion of Gloom is the project thing. I ain't yucking no one's yum.
I'll drop a picture of some of the work.
I
Guys,
mean, I think it's great
gonna
to
hop off.
cater. All right,
I'm gonna
sir.
hop
See ya,
off
man.
here. Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It's been an amazing year, and yeah, I just can't wait till next year and everything that you guys see in that preview. It's just the tip of the iceberg, but you guys know that we're all busy. The DAO's got surprises, and Coder Dan, awesome year, man, and
Oh
you even
yeah.
managed to surprise me with this dark mode. I'm impressed.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas.
See you guys.
Later.
See ya.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But yeah, I think we want to obviously having the support of the Polygon community, and as people do kind of view us as OGs, but we're not always as vocal or kind of out there as we could be. Obviously, we want to use this as a great opportunity to create some relationships with a lot of those communities. So like whitelist opportunities, getting people into aware of the mint, know that it's happening and all that. Maybe even some airdrops for some communities. But also, we also need to appeal more to, I think, outside of Polygon and try to help them convince people that like Polygon is where the innovation's happening. I feel like there's a lot of people like slinging mud at Polygon these days, and they honestly they need some projects that can go bigger than just Polygon and like appeal to other chains as well. So the intention is also to help the chain out a little bit and bring in some more eyeballs on some like bigger type of mints. Like the Farcana one, I thought was really cool. I think they did a good job bringing eyeballs to that mint. It was kind of strange. Like it was a free mint, and there's only 777 of them, so I felt like there wasn't that much opportunity, but it was a good start. It was definitely there was a lot of energy around that mint. But Polygon needs bigger mints, I think, and needs like projects on the chain to go bigger if we really want to attract more kind of mainstream NFT communities.
Yeah, and you do see like other large corporations and stuff looking at Polygon. Starbucks recently moved, not recently, but a while ago now, moved to Polygon for like their like Odyssey collectors for different types of coffee and stuff. I'm not collecting them, but like it's pretty cool to see like Starbucks coming on here, recognizing the value. And so we should, like you said, we should like recognize that and be like, oh, okay, there's gonna
Yeah,
be.
I mean they do, but I feel like Polygon is kind of catering towards enterprise clients at the moment, which
Mhm.
is great for like visibility of the chain, but it doesn't really add to the culture of the chain. They need to focus a little bit more on
On the
there was a phrase they
grassroots.
had there was like a phrase they had a while back that I thought was kind of funny. Let's see if I can think of it. It was something like becoming like a hotbed of culture or something. I think
Hmm.
they've kind of moved away from that, and they're more focused on enterprise stuff. which is cool. You know, enterprise is good. It's going to bring usage to the chain, but it's not going to bring the next like Bored Apes to want to launch on this chain.
Right. Yeah.
And we've told them that. We've been like, guys, you need to focus. Doing great. The CDK stuff is awesome. All the enterprise partnerships are great, but you also need to make sure you give some love to the grassroots and the culture. Otherwise, it's just going to become like enterprise chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that. I mean, actually, somewhere where I've noticed like Polygon and getting attention is not so much from the ETH maxis, but I mean, like the fake rares, like Bitcoin community. I mean, a couple of the Telegram chats, and there has been some like discussion about like Aavegotchi in there. It's been mentioned like that association with Polygon and Aavegotchi, and like I know not quite a few, but like at least a few Gotchi gang that are like Bitcoin maxis and have like they get it. For some reason, it's like easy to understand for them, and so I could see there being more crossover there too. Like they got like this scarcity like marketplace. They do auctions, and I'm like, why aren't you guys using GBM? Like this would be dope to have GBM on here.
Well, and what are the feelings and thoughts on like kind of like ambassador deployments? So what if we deployed something on like a new ZK EVM platform that wasn't the Aavegotchi project in context, but was like a
Mm-hmm.
little fork of it, a little spin-off of it. Y'all laugh at ETH Denver because I'm thinking essentially like little nouns, right? Like little
Yeah,
gotchis on ZK EVM to at least put gotchis in front of people's eyeballs and go, oh, what is this thing? And then you go, oh man, it's a flagship back up on Polygon. You don't know about them?
Or an
That way we were at
optimism or
least
something.
able to.
Yeah.
It's functional
Avalanche.
advertisement. We need to ambassador on these other chains, but obviously we're not trying to deploy on these other chains. So how do we have presence there without migrating?
totally.
Well, and
Yeah,
then we're
that's
gonna
it's
have our own
tricky as
chain
an
too.
NFT project.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have our own chain, but at the same time, it would be cool to have a cross chain presence. Like it's easy for DeFi protocols to do that because they can just pick up and launch wherever there's liquidity. NFT projects, it's a little bit trickier because you can't like just mint the same NFTs on every chain, just diluting everyone. So it's something we've definitely been thinking about. Like, how can we go over to Avalanche or Base or like Solana and do something over there, but without diluting the core like Aavegotchi identity? Yeah, I agree with Musashi. Like, I don't think ZK EVM is where we'd want to. We could. I mean, it could be a deployment, but we're not going to bring in new eyeballs from ZK EVM. It's pretty much the same people that are already using Polygon.
Something that's strange happened in there just in that regard is there's the sub deployments already happening on the ZKVM style because ZKVM is obviously like a main tier, and like ZK Fair launched on the 20th 3 days ago, and it totally was under my radar. I didn't miss it at all. And then we're watching. It's got like 90,000 people in the Discord, and I'm watching total newbies asking about wallets and connections and how do I get coins and complete onboarding of folks that don't even know anything about Polygon themselves. And so there's going to be these like subsection communities that are probably pretty decent in volume and activity that are almost completely separate from us. It's hard to find where to target.
Actually, Coder Dan, would you be open to like I guess collaborations with projects on AVAX? I know because we're trying to partner with them. Chicken Farm, they're one of the biggest games on AVAX. Their founders actually launched the Cock Enoch token that went to like $300 million like last week. So they are developing and building on Polygon as well. So we could probably do something in connection with the Chicken Farm and get some exposure on Avalanche, which is a budding like Avalanche has done really well recently. In
Hmm.
terms of, I mean, Stars Arena wasn't great; it failed, but it got a lot of eyes on them. So doing a collaboration with Chicken Farm, I think, would be really cool because they're like the leading game, and their NFTs go for like over $1,000 on their marketplace.
Yeah, like cross-chain collabs could be interesting. I mean, we have schematics, so if we have the partnerships to back those schematics up, then there could be some things we could do there.
When Gotchi chicken costume. I want to dress my Gotchi up like a rooster.
Yeah, because we were talking with them for rentals, but they're ready. We just have to get everything ready for them. We're focused on the Aavegotchi rental marketplace, which I want to announce something very quickly. I sealed a deal with Soju. We're going to be doing for the launch of the marketplace when it's ready, like a quest that we're going to set up, and the prize is going to be a fake Gotchi that we're getting commissioned from Soju. We still have to figure out everything in terms of what the piece will be and the number of editions. I want to keep it kind of exclusive and make it a really exclusive prize for completing the quest. But there'll be more details of that. I'm just very happy to work with Soju because I got to meet him and he's awesome. So being able to like just have him do anything is amazing. So very excited about that. We'll drop more information in the coming month or so.
I got a collab cooking up with Soju for the halving, because we don't have any BTC fake Gotchis, I've noticed. So it's time to get one in the queue.
Someone was mentioning we should do some Soul Spirit Force Gotchis and like other tokens, which did make me think like we've talked about we don't want to do another haunt. I think 25,000 Gotchis is probably enough, honestly. But it would be cool to have a way for like people we could like literally list tokens in the Gotchis. And if you wanted to spend the essence and maybe some ghosts or something, you could like create it. Well, the idea would basically be like if someone sacrificed the Gotchi, you could bring that Gotchi back to life, but with a different collateral. Originally, this idea was for ghost, like because we want to have ghost Gotchis, right? It'd be cool to have like an Aavegotchi with a ghost collateral, but we don't want to mint any more Gotchis, and we also want some sinks for our assets. So, like, if you wanted to make a ghost themed Gotchi, maybe you just have to sacrifice one and then bring it back to life with some ghosts somehow. But I think you could also like apply that idea to other collaterals too. Like you could have a Solana Gotchi, or you could have a Gone Gotchi. We could just list tokens, and it would be work for the art team for sure. But it might help improve our appeal to some other communities.
That's along with hardcore's mindset. Yeah, deflationary haunting's the way.
Yeah, I like the idea of a deflationary haunt. I know that you guys have kind of sidelined Gotchiverse tech. I mean, other than the upgrade to 3D, the other like achievements that you were aiming for until the 3D transition. But are you able to drop ERC20 tokens outside of the Alchemicas? Like, how hard is that for you guys to deploy that?
We got the system for dropping basically done before the transition. So it was just a question of updating the UI, adding in the assets, and then having kind of the back end tested for supporting other tokens. But yeah, definitely, I think theoretically it was almost possible. It's just it was kind of a UX nightmare to get it working properly and have like a nice UI to be able to do it. But for the Gotchiverse 2D, we were pretty close to actually getting that to a point where it was almost done before we just decided to pivot to 3D. I think that would be a cool feature though, being able to drop tokens of other projects in the verse, and that will definitely be part of the Gotchiverse 3D.
Yeah, if you could drop like meme coins from other EVM compatible chains that are kind of popping off, like, hey, we're doing a giveaway and we're going to drop a whole bunch of, like, people would go nuts for that because they've never seen, I don't think at this point, a game where they could walk around and actually pick up a whole bunch of like that meme coin and then exit, assuming, we would put some rules about survival, maybe turn it into the arena instead for a day. And you have to come in for this event and make it out with your, whatever, insert meme coin name to make it good.
Yeah, I know Jesse is particularly excited about the possibility of taking Spirit Force Arena and having like a match where your goal is to survive, but at the same time, there's like a bunch of coins everywhere that you're trying to farm and like escape with them. But to escape, you have to like you have to either, win the match or maybe like top 1 or 2 can get the tokens. but it would be like a battle royale, except there would just be tokens everywhere. We could do that with a lot of, we could do sponsored games, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, Flame, we do want to drop Matic. We were quite close. All the back end is ready for it. It's just the 2D back end and the UI, especially, and the everything was becoming quite painful to develop on, unfortunately. As the drops team is also discovering, like, Phaser, unfortunately, is just not production ready as a game engine for what we're trying to do.
Dan, let me jump in here real quick. We already got 21 burns so far since we started the hour, which is wild. That's a lot more than I expected. So I got some transactions to index and catch up with. Am I okay if I take the last couple minutes here and read Dr. Wagme's version of Aavegotchi Christmas?
Oh, please, man.
All right, I prep read this, so I think I'm going to hit this with good performance. All right, friends, this is Aavegotchi Christmas, written by our good friend Dr. Wagme, performed by your truly, Mike Allium. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the post, not a creature was stirring, not even a ghost. Gotchi pockets were open, by the thousands laid bare, celebrating the Gotchiverse, crafted with care. The Gotchis were all nestled, all snug and well pet, while visions of Keck danced in their heads. Dan in his saddle, Jesse white paper in hand, describing the ins and outs, oh so grand. When out in the district there arose such a hater, is that Ovix, the subgraph down, a rogue liquidator? To the great portal for safety, Gotchis flew like a flash, protecting each other, the portal, their cash. When what to my double mythic eyes did appear, but an Aave boat and 8 tiny raffle deer. With a bushy beard and a staff in hand, came Czar racing across the pixelated land. More rapid than skateboards, his raffles they came, and he potioned and pet them, and called them by name. Now Thrax, now Soju, now Diddley, now Goobs. On Hardcore, on Zbot, on T-Bird, no noobs. To all other districts beyond the inner wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. So up to my spacious parcel they flew, with a sleigh full of wearables, and of course, Czar too. He was dressed in all godlikes, from his head to his pet, a champion no doubt we will never forget. He spoke not a word, but went straight to work, filled our stockings with commons, then turned with a jerk. He laid a uranium rod to his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his ride, and gave the raffles a yell, and away they flew with the sound of sleigh bells. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, Aavegotchi Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's well done, Dr. Wagme. Dang, that was good.
That felt like a battle rap, the Ovix mentioned. I'm just gonna say that. For real.
Yeah, lyrics
If
were
that's
on
the first
point.
time, if that's the first time y'all have heard one of these, you can dig through the Gotchi Brothers old recorded episodes and catch the recording of Dr. Wagme's prior annual Christmas poems. He does great work with this. It's one of my favorite things to present.
Please, yeah, please record that somewhere and get that saved in the archives.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Make a fake Gotchis or something for it. That'd be dope.
Just keep the ideas coming. Yeah, we'll write that one down too.
Very cool, man. This is so better than anything AI could ever write. I mean, you might have had some AI help. I don't know, but I love it. I don't think AI could write anything that's good.
No, I don't think AI could write this. AI is good for like organizing the thoughts, like maybe it can
Yeah.
refine it a bit, but like this looks very original. Yeah, Musashi, I get you. Yeah, it's not that great for that.
There's some soul.
Yeah, there was some
Soul in
soul
the
I
post.
felt in there. Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Thank you, Dr. Wagme. That's beautiful.
Man, we're coming to the end of the year here. This is awesome. Like y'all were saying earlier, done a lot this year. Like the DAO and Pixelcraft has been just no words, man. I don't know. I just look around and I'm like, we're just crushing it right now.
Nah, we got a ways to go. We got got a lot of things to improve on, but we know what we need to improve on, and we got the tools ready. And yeah, we're ready to start firing off hard in January, February. ETH Denver, guys, it's gonna be insanely lit.
No
ETH
pressure,
Denver
no
is gonna be
push,
the
but
shelling point for Aavegotchi this in the first half of the year for sure.
Last year was
smoke
like an
screens.
appetizer,
Yeah.
Well,
basically.
you know, like waste no time. Like now is the moment. You know, Smokescreens and I have already got our tickets in wallet. We've already got lodging booked. We're moving forward fast as we can be based off of what we learned last year. There's a lot that we can improve on. There's a lot of follow up that we talked about after ETH Denver last year that we've got to make sure we come through and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, and we got the support from the ITF or Gotchi greeters this year, so I'll be Gotchi greeters with our godlike sweaters, hopefully.
I wore that sweater to a holiday party and it was a hit. I went under a black light and it was glowing. I was like, oh hell yeah! But then
Dope.
I cannot get this thing dirty. So I made someone threw up in my girlfriend's car and I was just like, I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
this.
I was gonna say, like, stay away from the girl that's thrown up everywhere. Don't
Yeah,
let her. I mean, you might not notice it on the sweater though, so that's good. This is a good sweater for you.
yeah, it's in the closet, safe with the other sweaters. So I will tastefully take it out when I'm feeling safe.
Oh man, did we not
No,
mention
no
that
mud, no vomit.
the Beeple appearance? Because Beeple has Gotchi sweater now, right?
Hey, people's
Also,
got you
potty
gang now.
Wi-Fi. Lord Trivia, like shout out to Lord Trivia because he's a real G. He was running the Gates Hotel. He just had like his connections are weird and deep, but he was able to walk right up to Spotty Wi-Fi, who's pretty guarded otherwise, and just give him the sweater and get him to take pictures with it. And that was pretty dope. You know, Light Piglet and I discussed doing it, but I was afraid that in the middle of his performance, he might like throw it away, and that would be a bad video shot. So, but it worked out well, and shout out to Lord Trivia for that.
Yeah, it's always fun seeing like people on Twitter that are maybe not fully Gotchi pilled, still rocking the sweater. There's like footage at the Beeple party, like some Gotchi gang, I guess maybe Gotchi gang, maybe not, that I didn't recognize, but they're rocking our sweaters. Yeah, there it is. Lost Local, shout out to him too for getting that delivered to Chad Beeple over there.
Yeah, man. There were some like videos where I saw people in the pink sweaters. I think Beeple posted, someone posted a video, and I was like, "Eh, there's a bunch of sweaters hanging around there." It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I can't wait to go back to ETH Denver and see those sweaters because the people that we gave them to were people that were attending ETH Denver, but they were also other biz dev or dev people within the ecosystem. So, like, from my experience, because I've gone to like 6 of these things, you end up seeing a lot of the same people. There are always new people, but the same BDs from certain companies are there. So, I'm hoping we see those sweaters make a resurgence without even us having to do much on top of the effort that we're going to do this year. Like we laid the groundwork last year for this to be even bigger, which is awesome.
We should do like a sweater airdrop. Like if you wear the sweater at ETH Denver, you'll get something. Because I think Jason did something cool last year where like he was giving out raffle tickets or something like IRL. I don't know. Maybe we
Right.
could do something cool. Like if we see you wearing the Gotchi sweater, you're gonna get some swag, maybe some socks or something.
Can we? I know this is probably inappropriate, but we did do the marijuana mansion. Can we give away some bud? Like we're in Colorado, it makes perfect sense. Because in New York, what was it? The Cyber Kongs. I went to their party and they airdropped me a bag of weed, and it was the coolest thing like in the world. So we could have like a little Gotchi goodie bag that has like maybe a piece of merch, but some like kind bud in there. You know.
I think Jason's gonna do that officially, but if it makes
Well, this is where GMI comes in, right? We'll take that heat. Yeah, you can
I'll put
liaison
Piglet
with
in the
us.
background. Maybe we have some budget.
But yeah, sweater airdrop would be pretty fun if we can get people to know about that. Obviously, breaking and getting people aware of it could be tricky. But yeah, it sounds definitely those sweaters are going to be even more noticeable this year. And we're going to have a huge gaming presence there too. I think I was overhearing what Golden Cross was saying, that we're going to be the only project. They have like this gaming area, right? Like it's like a separate section during the main stage, and we're the only project that's going to have a, a presence there that like doesn't change. Everyone else will be coming and going, but we're going to have like a fixed booth there, yeah, at the game station, where we're just going to be Aavegotchi like taking over and just planted there for everyone to see over the few days. No one else is going to have that, so that alone will be very dope.
Light Piglet, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's for 10 days that we're going to be in that block game center.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I got to bring a lot of coconut water because Denver is dry and I get like pruny very quickly. I don't like it.
Is ETH Denver at the same place as they had Rare Evo? Because that place was like kind of there's nothing there. But I'm sure it's not there, right?
That sounds like the place.
Is it like the Gaylord like resort and stuff?
No,
No,
whatever it is?
no,
No.
It's the
Okay.
Western. It's the Western Livestock Center. It's a gigantic like livestock arena.
do horse auctions there, and then they close it down and they do ETH Denver.
We almost
okay.
went into the horse area and the guy was like, "You guys look like horse people," and we're like, "What?"
Well, he gave us like a 10-minute spiel of like how to see the best horses and stuff. We're like, bro, we're trying to go to ETH Denver.
Trying to go.
We're
Yeah,
trying
he
to
did
play
not
with
listen.
our digital ghosts, bro.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's a huge venue, but they had it full. Like you could walk the whole venue, and it's full, like just one level, and it was full of projects out there. Cow Swap won the day with their nice little hats. Although our sweaters were like one of the better, like more luxury items that were given out. It's going to be huge, and I think it's going to be bigger this year than last year. So it'll be really cool coming out of the pandemic, just seeing all these projects. Hopefully, start it going into the start of a bull or whatever the hell we want to call it. Yeah, look at Hefe there playing. This is the blockchain arcade last year. It was much smaller. It had a whole bunch of games set up, but there weren't really there were like more arcade games and then other sections where you had like Axie Infinity, us. There were some games behind us. I forgot what games they were. But yeah, it was a cool vibe.
I mean,
We
games
were
were barely even live either. Like, there's gonna be so much more this year.
Absolutely. And most of the games were just imported, ports of prior existing games just to give folks something to do. So yeah, this year should be a lot different in the blockchain arcade and the game station.
I just hope they figure out their whole internet situation because that was a little bit frustrating last year.
Bro, it was a little bit ironic to say the least.
True, maybe a blessing in disguise. You know, we had our Gotchi Gang trailer on loop playing so everybody could see what to expect, but there was no there'll be more activation this year for sure.
Man, those sweaters, they stand out so well.
We are gonna.
Better.
Smoke Screens is sharing some real gems here too, T-Bird as well. We're gonna do a little Eat Denver kind of rundown during the roast here in a little while as well too. Just kind of go back down memory road and maybe bring up some of the stories that are not maybe so publicly known.
It's going to be a lot easier this year with the Ray-Ban metas too, because I can just like documenting stuff is going to be like, don't have to worry about setting up tripods for the most important stuff. I can do that with like a camera, but it makes the process of just capturing quality content much easier.
Just following up on the connections that happen out there and the reality. So T-Bird just posted that picture, and that's myself and Steve sitting at the table there. Steve from Pondau, and that's Lost Local and Zombie Shepherd. And y'all tell me his name again. That's the guy from Axie. And we were all just hanging out there at the table.
Oh,
but
Jiho.
like Steve, yeah, Jiho,
Yeah.
there you go. And that was that whole little hangout. And that was the fake coder Dan there hanging out right above the PC monitor on the left-hand side of that particular picture. But that's Steve from Pondau, and Pondau just also built a Aavegotchi specific front end that they wanted to kind of showcase with us and sweetheart us a little bit. So if any of y'all use the Pawn service or have done loans there, you can check aavegotchi.pawn.xyz, and they have it kind of custom styled and just kind of all Aavegotchi'd out to make it specific for our community there too. And so it's just these connections that we make at ETH Denver, they last much longer than the timeline of ETH Denver.
You could see in this photo, the one he's talking about, the where we were placed. We were right in front of a main entryway, like to go downstairs. So we got so much like excellent foot traffic. It was constant like flow of people, and they all like we were right next to Axie Infinity. They were getting like no traffic, and everybody was stopping towards us, and it felt really good. Hefe, are we doing a dower this week? Because we're just kind of vibing right
No,
now.
we're just vibing. But you know what? Let me just go through the proposals real quick because I didn't actually. There's really, unless someone has something to talk about, I'll just go through these proposals here. Yeah, those sweaters look great. That's awesome. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, very quickly, we should give Agassi was saying we should give props to Gotchi Battlers since their first tournament with the rewards just ended.
What? The Gotchi Battler started already?
I think this was like this is like a beta. It wasn't the full one, but it was like a test. Like I'm not 100% sure. If anybody else knows, please speak up.
Phantasma, you're welcome up too, man.
Yeah, what you want to say in Tarja Mike, I'll let him know. He's not in the Discord. I might try to get him in here, but I don't even know if he knows how to use Discord.
Man, that
One of
piece
them
is
created
dope.
tables.
I will relay any messages to him though.
Okay, let me rip through these and then we can yeah, we can kind of have a chilled hour today. Community vibes. Oh shit, we got quite a few proposals. Okay. Yeah, we'll start here. So let's look at the SIG prop for strategic treasury yeah, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, you should be able to see it. Strategic treasury diversification into Ethereum, 3 million ETH purchase, and this was like a pretty extensive discussion in the forum. 9 million quorum. So quorum was met on this one, 82% in favor of. It seemed like kind of a no-brainer because it's a, you know, we're continuing from our treasury diversification plan from when we free floated Ghost. So that one seems to have passed. Upgrading the ATF. So the ATF had I don't know, Futuristic brought up a couple times, as 100k Ghost and 70 fake Gotchi cards that were for community rewards for some of our like DAO built games, and it was capped at 500 Ghost previously, so it was really hard for people to I mean, it just wasn't enough for the type of competitions that the DAO wanted to host or community members wanted to host. So here are the new parameters. 4,000 Ghosts per calendar year to fund their gaming prize pools. 5 fake Gotchi cards per calendar year to be used as part of their game competitions. And 1,000 Ghosts per calendar year to assist with server hosting costs, playtest funding, fake Gotchi art commissions, marketing, etc. So a lot more open, a lot more generous at least than it was before. And so if you have a request, you should definitely go check out the ATF server. If someone could drop the link, if someone's in there. And then there's a multi-sig. So just updating the multi-sig here. We have Slick, PG, Scrooger, myself, Mycalm, Lagan, and Chair that are on the board there. And yeah, this one seems to have passed. Yeah, thanks for dropping that link. If you are a game developer or aspiring game developer, that's also a great place to be to get your questions answered. And some really helpful people in there like Slick, helping people, just giving tips and pointers and stuff. So
Slick's motivated on this. He's got fired up with Drop 2. He's seeing the potential not just for him, but for all the folks like him that come after him as well. So he's applying some good energy to ATF.
hell yeah. So 90% of the DAO is in favor of this change, which is good. This is Agap 102 of the Dropped Alpha funding proposal. And so, you know, Dropped has been really fun. Actually hung out with the FaZe and like Piglet last week. They got me down into, like level 30 or something like that. It was a good time. I had my name on the board like temporarily for like 10 minutes, which was great. Because that board moves, man. That was a great competition. So 79% of the DAO was in favor of that. And, well, I guess it's still going on. So you still have some time to vote on it. It's almost met quorum, friends. So we have 300K worth of votes roughly that we need to get this one across the finish line. And you still have you still have 1 week, but with holidays going on and everything, like, just get your votes in, friends. Just go get your votes in right now or after this call, and let's get this one across the finish line. Agip 104 upgrading the ETF. That was a proposal I just talked about. 7.6 million votes casted so far. A little bit of ways out, and 93% of the DAO's in favor of that. So again, go check that one out. Agip 103, strategic treasury diversification into Ethereum, 3 million ETH purchase. And so 85% in favor of that so far, and 5.7 million votes casted so far. And so I think you have like a week on all of these. And then here, last one, and this is kind of ties in with the other one. So supply 3.5 million treasury DAI to Aave. And so the idea behind this one would be to be generating some sort of APR interest on our DAI that we're holding in their treasury at with an average APR of about 4.34%, and generating an annual yield of 154K approximately, without any sort of impermanent loss. So it's a high yield strategy through a stable coin. And so that would leave the 500,000 DAI in the DAO's Polygon wallet for ongoing initiatives, and the rest of the DAI strategically supplied to Aave. And all supplied DAI comes from the 25% post-curve closure treasury allocation. There's a nice pie chart there, proposed DAO holdings if these pass. So we would have 54% of our Polygon treasury in ETH. We would have roughly 14% in USDC. We'd have 13% in supplied DAI to Aave, 8% in unsupplied DAI, and then 11% in Ghost. No, I got that backwards. Sorry. 11% in ETH, 54% in Ghost. And so, yeah, there's obvious benefits to this. Passive income, so generating a stable, high-yield avenue for the DAO. There's some flexibility there because you can easily, pull your lending from Aave, and could have like an exit strategy there pretty easily. Market up, yeah.
Actually, I was just gonna bring it up because I know Light Piglet brought it up a couple weeks ago. Aave actually had a freeze on, like, it was on USDC, but it happened a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, where it was like for a week. So it does happen that sometimes these stable coins get frozen. So having such a significant part of the treasury in, potentially in a frozen state could be an issue. It's unlikely, but yeah, it did happen like not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lists that. I think he lists that under risks. So yeah, I'll go through the risks as well. Diversification broadens the DAO's investment portfolio and protects our stable coins against inflation by generating yield. So that's a USD risk across the board. Platform dependence. So this is what you were talking about. Relies heavily on Aave ecosystem and the stability of its smart contracts, introducing platform-specific risks, like what you just mentioned there, with potentially coins being frozen and not being able to withdraw from the platform. Liquidity constraints. So future proposals may require accessing funds from the supplied DAI if the Polygon treasury depletes, and that could affect the liquidity too. And market volatility. So this is like a DAI risk because they do have some real world assets, and if they were somehow exposed to some like high volatility with some of the assets they own, it could cause DAI to, depeg, like we've seen happen once before, and that could cause the value of DAI to change quickly. And so exposure to market fluctuations could also, the market fluctuations could also affect the APR. That's a different risk. Smart contract vulnerabilities. Despite Aave's track record, the risk of smart contract bugs or exploits remains inherent in DeFi protocols. So I just wanted to go through that one, benefits and risks. Just consider both and then cast your votes. Right now, it looks like we have 3.4 million votes casted so far, and 87% in favor of. So yeah, you have 2 weeks for that. So get your votes in now this week. Otherwise, if you want to have a closer look at this, think about it. There's a forum post open already for treasury diversification, so you can aim your questions over there, and yeah, we'll see how these shake out over the next week. That's all I got, friends. That is the snapshot summary wrapped up. What's this in the chat? Mickey Mouse just went public domain.
Starting January 1st, the old OG Mickey Mouse stuff is going to be
old
public
Steamboat
domain.
Willie.
I mean, guys, they're gonna be suing people left and right just because they're gonna try, right? They're gonna try to protect their IP. I don't think it's a wise move to make or sell merch based on Mickey Mouse, but I'm sure there will be people doing it in crypto. Anons are definitely going to be ripping that brand apart. It's going to get wild out there, but we'll think about it for sure. It could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I could see some fake Gotchi themed crossovers there.
Yeah.
Subtle, but there. Yeah, there's a whole South Park episode, so I'm sure it's fine. Well, so what do you guys want to talk about? You want to look at year in review, or I don't really have anything specific for today. Kind of a chill
little
call.
update. Just waiting kind of for Snapshot to update the voting, the PR that we sent them, and then the voting power should be back to normal. Once that happens, we are planning to put out this proposal for the market maker, but I don't know if it'll happen next week or not. It's ready though. We didn't want to put it out until the voting power is fixed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Has there been any conversation around the potions? Because I know that was the other potential proposal that we could see in the near future. XP and kinship potions, mainly, I think.
No, not yet. We're kind of focused on other little more pressing tokenomic stuff, but there will be a proposal for that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We put so much effort into each of these proposals. It definitely takes quite a lot of time to brainstorm it and then write it out. Make sure that we've attacked every angle we can with them, especially something like the potions. It's a big topic, so we might bring it up one more time on a DAO call before we actually put pen to paper and actually make a proposal.
Yeah, 100%. I see Oliver Spoon bringing it up here. Respec potions. I know there was some talk earlier this week I saw in the chat about respec potions and how they could potentially be even minted, right? You guys were talking about Essence, and kind of curious to know what your thoughts are there on that, on respec potions. Seems like with the arena coming out and so many different games coming out, it might be a good time to re-optimize some of our gotchis. I know I was positioned for rarity farming for a long time, and I'd love to respec some of my gotchis to more, specific use cases, like whether it's arena battler or gotchi crawler or whatnot. GM Oliver Spoon, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, sir. Congrats on the prop.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Thanks so much for your support, everyone. It feels really good. And it's 80%. I feel so overwhelmed with this gratitude. And yeah, looking forward to a big year ahead for for dropped.
Yeah, that's
But
what
I
we
wanted
like
to
to
drop.
see.
It makes a difference, you know. It feels really good to see like a majority support. It feels really, really good.
Yeah, 100%.
I did want to jump in though about the respec potions. There was a little bit of chat there. I thought maybe we could talk about that for a few minutes if you guys are keen.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know you
Um,
had some good thoughts behind it, so.
yeah, I just did like a little one-liner here, and it's basically just going to say it again. And my thoughts are to make them infinite in quantity, so we don't have a situation where players are hoarding them, like with the XP and kinship potions. We should make them more like free-flowing. And the school of thought there is if they're infinite, then we're burning essence, right? It actually contributes towards deflation of our assets. Versus if we make them like, I don't know, if we mint like 100,000 of them or whatever, it's going to cause hoarding, and it's going to make it really, it's going to create a lot of friction for gamers to have to decide between, you know, spending a precious resource or respecking. And my thought is, with lots of different games coming out, it makes sense to have the meta more free flowing, right? So, say Drop does a tournament, someone might throw a few essence to respec, and then Gotchi Guardians does one, but you might want a different, you know, build for that. Then we want players to be able to move around a bit more.
Oh, I see Coder Dan mentioning something here. Maybe for Alk or Glitter, even. No, that's more
Yeah, I like the
conversation.
idea of infinite. We need more infinite things that are like just meant to be consumables in this ecosystem, aren't meant to be like hoarded. We have plenty of stuff that can be hoarded, but we need more infinite mint stuff that's just used and purchased when needed.
Yeah. So if we did Alk, would it be like one specific one, or all four, or it could be either? You could. It's like Alchemist isn't a ratio, right? So it could be like 100 FUD or 25 CAC or whatever the breakdown is, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, I
the
mean, I
idea of
think
alchemy, with like mixing different ratios together, different alchemicas.
some alk, some glitter, some essence.
I mean,
And
essence is
then
an
Yeah.
interesting one for sure, because it's like you're respecking your gotchi, so maybe some essence from another gotchi kind of makes sense.
you don't even need to make it a potion, right? I think it's just more like uh you're like your gotchi's going back in time or something. Or like it's you would just basically kind of like with the forge, you choose which uh which gotchi you're gonna use to mint something or like to smelt it, and you have different levels for that. Yeah, like Phantasma says, like an alchemy skill. We have the forge skill, but maybe I don't know. You could have it as a potion, I guess, if you wanted to make it as a skill, and it gets like cheaper to mint with a higher level gotchi that has like more alchemy skill. But it doesn't have to be a potion. It could just be something that you pay for and tell it which gotchi you want to like uh, respec, and then it just happens. I don't know if we make it a potion, then people are going to want to trade it.
It's like alchemy, but for the gotchi. It's like you're experimenting with the gotchi essentially. I imagine like this, like the
Yeah,
UI could be like this Frankenstein table when you put your gotchi on it, and then you can start like modifying its traits. Lagan asking, how does respecking work? That's a good question. Essentially, would you
on
just
chain
get?
it just yeah.
Sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Just on chain it resets your gotchi to before you spent your skill points that you get every 3 levels. That's all it's really doing.
Like a wayback machine.
Yeah, it's not really a wayback machine. I mean, the gotchi is still, it's not like it's going down, like it's not getting younger. It's just, it's it's putting back the neuroplasticity of the gotchi. Ooh.
Love the Frankenlick.
Yeah, Dr. Wymie has a good point. Skill points are gotchi and protocol specific, not specific to the Gotchiverse. So, I mean, it could, if we just wanted to use essence, it could also just be essence, if that's what you mean by protocol asset. But then we are kind of missing out on potential other sinks for other assets. Depends on how hard we want to make this respecking or how much friction we want to add for it.
I'd imagine it should be kind of challenging. Like you shouldn't be able to just change the meta of your gotchi like consistently. I don't know, maybe you can, but it would every gotchi's unique in a way. So you kind of want to keep some of that.
Yeah, the gotchi is unique, but it's like if you made it really easy, people would probably use it like if you wanted to jump into dropped and you don't want to use the points that you allocated for Gotchi Guardians, like if it was super easy, maybe people might use it more.
Yeah, that's my thinking. Is if it's like $1 to $3 worth of whatever resource, it would be really accessible, and I think you'd get more use out of it than if it was like $10 or more to respec.
Yeah, I think microtransactions is where a lot of things are headed. It's better to have like a lot of use of something cheap than like a one-time very expensive thing.
Yep, I agree with that. And we see that with our dropped revenue model too, is like the microtransactions are the way to go. I'm sure you're seeing that too with when you're doing the Gotchi Guardians and other things too.
I mean, that's a model that's worked with a lot of great mobile games. I was like a huge Clash of Clans player. Started with a little trickle of like investment, not even investment, but just a little trickle of spending here and there, little transactions here and there, getting a few extra gems or whatever, and then like looking back a couple months back, I'm like, dang, I spent like $600 on this game. It's it can be addictive as you get more involved, right? As you play it more.
So Phantasma brought up interesting point of the alchemy skill. Since we're talking just generally about potions, like the respec potion is one. Whether or not we want to make it a potion, I guess, is the first question, or is it just an on-chain transaction? Does it actually do we need to mint an NFT potion that's then, tradable in the bazaar? And then if you mint that potion with you would have an alchemy skill, like you said, with a certain gotchi, that would increase the skill of the gotchi. Maybe it costs less essence with a higher, your skill is, something like that. It's definitely doable. It's just whether or not that's going to add value to the overall ecosystem and like make the gameplay more fun, or it's just like, you walk up to this thing, put in a quarter, and you respec your gotchi. No potions or anything really needed.
It could be interesting for like dynamic team gameplay. Like if you had like your friends, you're going through a dungeon or whatever, and somehow the meta, not the meta, but just the way you have to play through a specific dungeon changes while you guys are playing. You could send your friend like a potion, and they could respec, and then they would be, a little bit better suited to that next level or whatever. It could make things interesting.
Yeah, we could do it like the Forge too, where it's 2 resources, right? So say the potion cost 10 essence or whatever, and then you could use glitter to speed up the alchemy process. So you get 2 resources going there at once, and then your alchemy level could make it cheaper if you wanted to, but you could also make it reduce the craft time like it is with smithing.
I mean, I like
We are.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when you introduce glitter, just remember that it might have other utilities in other places. So it's good that you think of it as having that utility, but at the same time, it is going to be a highly volatile token one day.
Right. So you can make it like, say the potion takes 12 hours to craft, but you could insta craft it for a negligible amount of glitter, maybe.
Right, but if the glitter amount of glitter is fixed, like right now, when glitter is super tiny, that might need to be changed later. It's just like it could have more volatility in the future it's such a low cap right now. It's like if we're setting things with current how glitter is right now, but that might change a lot later. So I don't know if we should link it to glitter or not. Maybe we should just link it to essence. Call it a day.
Dr. Wagme saying 10 essence per skill point you want to reassign.
I think it makes
But I
sense
do like the
to
idea
make
of
a
a skill.
potion.
Yeah. But if you make it a potion, people are going to want to trade the potion. Do we need the potion to be tradable? Does this what's the value of like making this functionality a tradable NFT?
My
Maybe
gut
it
thinks
doesn't need to be tradable.
Yeah, right off the bat, it doesn't need to be tradable. If it wanted to be tradable, the only value you roll in is if you had skills like crafting of the potions, a little bit like the forge, because I could let someone else forge my stuff for me because they're better at it than me.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we did have like an alchemy skill, those would work together well. Just does that make things easier or better for people to understand or more fun? What's the upside versus the downside?
I think the upside with this alchemy skill is it opens the possibility to craft more things. Like if you up in the chat a little bit, Phantasma mentioned that flasks and things were really useful in WoW and a great sink for the economy.
Flask is like it's not like a container for a potion. You can fill it.
I think flasks in WoW were like super powerful potions. I don't remember though. And they would last like 2 hours and persist through death, if memory serves. And like they were really useful for raiding, but they were really expensive to make.
Hmm. I think a flask is like I don't know, maybe I'm thinking from like more of like the Dota perspective. Like you have this flask and you can fill it with stuff that you pick up. I didn't play WoW though, so.
Yeah, RuneScape was like hardcore. You had to like make your flask before you can even make your potion.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking back to that. Like you actually had to like make the flask. No, I think I see what Dr. Wagme's saying. I kind of agree with that. Like at minimum, like a soulbound potion at least, if it's not tradable, but to be able to like
Yeah. That was the original. I think the Forge proposal was to make. Maybe someone can chime in about exactly what that was, but it was at the minimum it was like one respect potion. But it's like if we do one potion with 25,000 quantity, eventually we're just going to end up where we are with kinship potions and XP potions now, where people are just hoarding them and they're unusable. So if we want to have like this dynamic universe of games where you have 20 different games that like use the traits separately, I think you'll want to have an easy way for people to swap their stats around. Otherwise, gotchis are going to end up like feeling very ossified.
Exactly. I agree 100% on that. And like you said earlier, we want consumables that are not like collectible or finite, right? That actually just generate revenue on some level.
What about the spending? Would that, if people spend these, do we want to burn the essence, or does it go somewhere? Kind of like the idea of not burning it and just using it for something more productive, giveaways or something.
Yeah, I agree. Like at least save it on some degree.
Yeah, burning doesn't. I don't feel it's like a super productive thing to do on. It doesn't, unless there's like a very specific reason to burn it. I think it's people spend it and it can be reused for other things, like bringing in new players into the ecosystem by giving them essence.
Yeah, and if we ever do some kind of haunt that involves spending essence, there's some play there to recirculate some degree of essence.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, potion, yes or no? Tradable, yes or no? And currency, sounds like people are leaning towards essence.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe glitter. What about the Forge team? Dr. Wagme, like, do you guys have any thoughts on, does this change implementation of what, I know Diddlypoo has worked a bit on the Forge side for like implementing the potion. I think he was asking me about how it should be implemented in terms of like making it an item as we have with the other potions, because we don't currently support like an unlimited mintable potion. So it would probably have to be a different asset class, or we'd have to extend the item types that we have currently. This is gonna, what does this do for rarity farming too? People are
Shakes
gonna be
things up.
changing. Oh my God, it's gonna be wild. People are gonna be just like changing their stats. So I guess wouldn't be that bad, because you'll just try to optimize your Gotchi the best. Could get kind of funny.
Each rotation of rarity farming, you know what it is ahead of time. The tiebreaker on the stat is it?
Yeah.
I guess that could work really well for the top slots, right, where players are. If it's cheap enough, I don't think it would really be much of a concern. But it would work towards absorbing essence out of the ecosystem.
Love Gotchi saying, would it be simple to introduce a potion purchase limit for each Gotchi? I mean, why? Or why do we need this to? And Esther says, effects of the respect potion will only work for a limited time period. Like, why does it matter? What's the argument against allowing people to respect their Gotchi?
Against being able to respect their Gotchi.
We're talking about the ARS, like in terms of absolute rarity of the Gotchis. Is that the argument against it?
If we had implemented ARS, like I don't know if people are still in favor of that now, but seems like with so many games coming out, like we want our Gotchis to be a little bit more flexible with the different types of meta that everybody is going to have with their games. That seems like the major like appeal of doing this.
Yeah, I think it could end up burning or using a lot of essence. Like, imagine the meta of a game changing a little bit, and then people are like, oh man, I really want to spec into brain, or I really want to spec into aggressiveness. or low, or I want to go low aggressiveness because that's the meta right now, and everyone's like spending essence to respec into it.
I could see
Can you tell-
Florigotchis being picked up for different reasons after that. Like I would like pick up a Florigotchi, just be like, I'm gonna burn this guy, harvest the essence, so I can respec all my other ones.
Lasserin says make them tradable and skim money from the market transactions. I mean, you can make them tradable. It's just essence is already tradable, and the gotchis are already tradable. So do you really need to make the potions also tradable? It's just an arb between essence and the potion, the price of the potion. But I think if when this proposal does, I mean, it's already been confirmed that we will do at least one respec potion. So the question now is, does that need to be an unlimited potion or not? And like Dr. Wagme says, the DAO has already confirmed that it is indeed, currently it's limited to one per gotchi that will be, if I'm not mistaken, it will be airdropped, right? So you can claim one potion per gotchi, just like we did with the backgrounds. But anything beyond that will need to be something else. No, future, we changed rarity, we changed it to rarity rather than BRS, because BRS as a term is a bit hard for people to know what it means. So that's why it's just showing rarity there. That's should be the aggregate rarity of the gotchi. It's not I don't think it's the base rarity there. It's like it's including all the wearables. Should be, at least. Maybe is the UI incorrect?
No, I'm not sure. This one's a naked gotcha, I think, but for just because we keep saying BRS in our like the way we talk to each other, and we all know that, but people listening in, because there are new people listening in, you're like, what is this versus rarity? So just so that there's like, I guess, some kind of some feedback I've gotten from newer people.
Oh, they've actually said they don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they're like, how can I find the BRS? And I showed them rarity. I'm like, oh, we keep referring to it as BRS, but on the site it's called rarity. So if you're listening to this conversation, you'd be confused as hell.
I mean, we can, it's like, it's not actually, it was a misnomer because the term BRS was referring to the gotchi's rarity without wearables. That's the base rarity score. And then on chain, it's called the modified rarity score. And then with the set, it's then called the with sets like rarity score. So BRS as a term in the way that it's being used is actually not that accurate, just because it's referring to the naked gotchis like rarity.
It's like the base rarity of the base rarity is a naked gotchi's rarity.
We should really just call it like rarity score, because that's what it is with all the wearables on it. And if you're referring only to like a naked gotchi that doesn't have anything, that's kind of the BRS. Agis says, I'm against the potion. I think he's referring to better focus on the 3D Gotchiverse. Well, the Forge team is working on this. This isn't necessarily something that's going to take away a lot of time from Pixelcraft. This is kind of on the Forge got the budget to do this. That's why we're discussing this. But it is, as we have more and more games coming out, people they really want to be able to respec gotchis. So I think it kind of is a pain point right now. I can't say how many times I've seen hardcore being like, when respec potion? Because I know he wants to respec his gotchis. Which is, if a lot of people want to do that, it means it's revenue for the DAO, or it's, a sink for tokens.
Yeah, I'd love to see like respec potion available in like the play dropped store, going in between levels, and I can respec even like in game. That would be cool.
Yeah. All of our hardcore gamer gang here saying they want to respec.
We want respec.
Okay, so Oliver, this would be, all right, well, like you said, I think we started this conversation saying that we can do a single potion drop. It's just people are going to speculate heavily on that, and we don't want to make an asset now and make it limited quantity, knowing maybe a few months down the line that we're going to create an unlimited supply of said asset. That's just people are gonna get wrecked. So it's better to be upfront about what the intention of the respec potion is now. Do it properly.
Referring specifically to like games like Spirit Force Arena, I imagine even like games we've seen it already in like dropped that in game you had your own boosts. Could we see like potions being created in like just game specific to Spirit Force Arena, for example, that are not on chain? They're just in game. You can't sell them or anything like that.
Yeah, those are like they're not even NFTs. Those are just like off-chain in-game items. So if as Crypto-Gotchi says, if the potion that gets airdropped is more like a badge, like a consumable badge that can actually be traded, then that would be better.
Mm-hmm.
People still might speculate on the value of a gotchi that has a potion, though. It's probably less likely, but it still could happen. You still might get people getting wrecked. But I mean, we don't want to have scope creep as well. Forge needs to get this complete so it can, finish the roadmap that the Forge outlined. We don't want this to continuing to have scope creep. This could be if we can do it in a way that the initial proposal is complete, and then there's additional proposals in a way that people don't speculate on things, that would be ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, so that kind of that's there's some sentiment there for the potions. Sounds like maybe essence could be at least for future iterations could be looked at. This could potentially change if it's a one-time thing, yeah. But I guess we're talking about maybe a one-time drop and then subsequent like iterations on that to make it tradable or craftable, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we should think about in the future if we do end up adding kinship or XP potions. Be nice if they were in the same family somehow and using the same system. So if anyone wants to ponder over this over break or over the holidays here, feel free. We can maybe set a little bit of time for it next week as well, and give the Forge a clearer direction on what the DAO is thinking on this. I mean, they've already laid out what they plan to do, so we can just let them do that. They've received funding and have already started working on the contracts for that. So we don't want to upset the cart too much here.
Mm-hmm.
But if this item is going to be made unlimited quantity later, we can't go and mint 25,000 items and then rug people by saying it's now unlimited quantity.
I like the idea of skills. I admit I haven't been forging very much, but the idea of like having a smithing skill, it makes sense. Like maybe over time we add other skills that we can develop for our gotchis. It's
yeah, super cool.
In line with that MMO RPG vibe. but across many different games. I know, Coder Dan, you guys mentioned some sort of like player trackable achievements across many games like that.
Yep.
That's going to be really interesting once that. Don't know much about that one yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, honestly, we're not reinventing the wheel on that system. It's a system that both Andy and Slama have used in previous games. It's been extremely successful, but the only difference is it'll be on chain. These will be real on chain badges that are minted to the players, and in some case, potentially gotchis as well. That you'll be able to see those on chain. You'll be able to see how many there are. Everything will be on chain, so it'll be fully transparent, unlike other, Web 2 systems where you don't know how many people have achieved certain achievements, and if the game disappears one day, you lose everything. So those are kind of the two. I'm sure there's more benefits, but those are two of the main benefits. But we just want to have a lot of rewards, just like feel good stuff for people playing their first games of Spirit Force Arena or Gotchi Guardians, and giving them a sense of progression through the games. Like, progression is an area that is very underdeveloped in Web3, and I think it's going to give us a nice competitive advantage against some of the other games in like increasing retention.
Are these achievements going to be tracked through that pass, the founder's pass? Is that's what will be accumulating the achievements, or?
No, the achievement system, it'll be the founder's pass that mint will link to the achievement system in a way, but you won't have to have that pass in order to like level up stuff. Dr. Wagme, I don't quite understand the question. Uniqueness of point spread.
We're chatting here about the potions, and Musashi's saying that people
Okay.
allocate their points to be unique. Like, so your gotcha, you might put a point into brain versus spooky, because if you do that, then you're a one of one. And so we're back and forth. I was asking if people actually do that. I didn't know people did, and then I'm curious if there's a website I could actually check that out. And then Wagme's asking if there's if there's a monetary value to this idea.
I mean, even if there potentially is, like, and we do implement ARS one day, I still think it'll be a very niche use case compared to the primary mainstream use case, which will be using your gotchi in games to play and change the meta of those games. Like, the gotchis are meant to be played with.
Yep.
Well, in the early days of Aavegotchi, it was like we were like this NFT collection, like pre-Gotchiverse. We were like good vibes, community around the Aavegotchis. And now it seems like we're opening up, like hopefully the floodgates open up with all these gaming experiences. And so, we should be, in my opinion, thinking of ourselves as a like gaming protocol and positioning like accordingly.
Yeah, we're both. I mean, we've been trying to kind of craft the perfect tagline. It's really fucking hard.
I know, man.
For what what Aavegotchi is.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty close. The one we try different things on Twitter once in a while. Like right now it says your crypto companion across a multiverse of games, which I can't really think of anything really stronger or more clear than that. Like, it's not clear in a way that it doesn't tell you any numbers or anything super specific, but just trying to sum up what Aavegotchi is can be very difficult, because we're two things. We're an NFT collection, and we're also a gaming protocol. Like, I like to say that Aavegotchis are the NFTs. Aavegotchi is the protocol, is the NFT gaming protocol. So we're both things. And if you really like, we're one of the only NFT projects that's like actively building not only one but like multiple games around it to be used, and the NFT is interoperable between all of them. So pretty, I think Axie is doing something similar. They have a lot of games as well, but I don't know exactly how far they're taking the interoperability part.
Well, they got the Ronin chain, which is their kind of like their own native chain, and they just launched Pixels on it. But I was checking the Pixels game out, and there's no like parallels between the original like Axie game on Ronin and Pixels. It's like a completely different thing, and it was kind of confusing, to be honest. Like if you're gonna be like a blockchain gaming console with your own assets, like millions of assets, it makes sense to have like many experiences, right?
Yeah, and they do. They have other games that other community devs have built on Axie. But yeah, like Ronin is just it's a gaming chain now. It's a public chain for gaming for any game. I think. I mean, they are being picky about which games they list, I think, for now. But it's basically they're just trying to get more activity on the chain. So, and they're giving their Axie players more games to play. But they're not specifically Axie related. Although I'm sure you can probably play as an Axie in Pixels, can't you?
I don't think you can.
Hey Dan, today's not Zbot's birthday, is it?
I don't think so. I could have sworn he's born in the summer.
He may have his Twitter deets, not correctly listed. That's very possible, but at least his Twitter
Zbot?
profile, his Twitter profile is showing that it's his birthday. Is that true today, Zbot? Oh, it sure looks like it. Heck yeah! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, friend.
Oh, happy birthday, sir. Did not
Happy
realize
birthday,
that.
bro.
Y'all should burn a fake Gotchi for his birthday.
But Ronin as a chain, I mean, it's still kind of using legacy EVM tech. It's going to be interesting to see how it actually scales.
I know transaction fees on Ronin are like almost non-existent. They're like very cheap, which is going to be exciting for like having your own chain, having really low fees. I think is going to be it'll remove a major friction point. Anyway,
it's actually like a good question. I mean, with Gotchi Chain, it's a Polygon CDK, which means it's basically a light roll up. It's called a Validium, and we could go and just pay literally for gas for everyone on the chain, because it like every how to explain it? It's like we'll be paying for the server costs up front to calculate all the transactions. There's no validators involved. So like when you have that, we're gonna pay probably a fixed cost every month to run all the transactions on the network. And then beyond that, like we don't have to charge people for we can recoup those costs by having people pay gas, or we could treat those as a sunk cost and just not have any gas on the chain. But if you don't have any gas, there's just like a chance that people are going to DDoS the network because it's free for them to do that. So that's not good either.
the cost of attack would be like zero. It's like, oh, I can just attack. Yeah.
We're just paying for people to DDoS us. So like I think there's going to be a balance between a lot of transactions that are valuable to the games should be paid by probably Pixelcraft, and we'll probably do that. For example, buying something in the marketplace, like if that you shouldn't have to pay gas if you're gonna buy something in the bazaar. But listing, I think you should pay gas, because if you don't have any gas for listing, people are just gonna spam listings all day. because it's like you're trying to get the cheapest price. So another example is petting. Like, should we pay for petting for people on the network? Probably not. I don't think I mean, we could, or we could pay for, maybe a certain number of pets each month or something. But if there's no use of the gas token, why even have a gas token? So I think there'll be a balance between which transactions we want users to pay for and which transactions Pixelcraft will pay for. And hopefully it's a nice balance that gives people a good experience on the chain. Well, like Crypto-Gotchi, they're not just gonna keep petting their gotchis over and over again. I mean, it would be considered a DDoS at that point. And we will probably have some upper limits on how many transactions an account could make for free, like every 24 hours. All this is kind of possible with like the latest account abstraction tech and paymasters and stuff like that. So I think it should be doable. But for the value generating transactions, like purchasing something in a bazaar where you're spending Ghost, then we will pay for those all day. It's generating revenue for everyone.
Yeah, well,
anyway, it's Christmas Eve for me here in Asia. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone if you celebrate the holiday. Happy birthday to Zbot, sir. And hope you guys have a fantastic holiday season. Pixelcraft is kind of, we're on holiday at the moment, although we are definitely here for anything that needs to be done or any conversations. We'll be hanging out, but we're kind of chilling this week after a big year of shipping and resting up, gearing up for a big 2024. So have a blessed holiday to all 51 of our friends here, plus the speakers. Thank you guys for coming out on this chill little Saturday we're having here.
Yeah,
and there will be a hangout next week.
Yeah, very well.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you, Dan. And yeah, well deserved on behalf of the Pixelcraft team. Take some time off, take it easy. That's for everyone, I guess. We all show up to these pretty regularly. So yeah, and I'll open it up. I guess my Callum's doing a fireside roast, and so we'll head over
we're gonna
there
give
in a
it. We'll give it a little bit of a gap here so everyone can check in on your friends and your family, on the dog, use the restroom, get some snacks, have a smoke, have a drink. We'll start things off at the half hour. So we're about, about 24 minutes away. This will be in the GMI server.
Awesome.
Pepe,
Thanks,
are you
fam.
coming through?
Enjoy the new dark mode. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.
Peace out, Coder Dan. Yes.
Stay warm with all those fake Gotchi burnings. Later.
Yeah. I'll show up. I'll probably be a little bit longer, but I'll show up. I'll come hang out. I got some Gotchis to burn, fake Gotchis to burn. So I'll be there. Got some fake Sams. Give some of those out.
Yeah, I like it. We're already up to like 22 burns already. I gotta check and see what's updated since last time I updated it. But yeah, they're flying into the flames right now.
Nice. Well, all right. 45 of y'all, have a good holiday. Merry Christmas. Enjoy. Spend time with your families. Enjoy your weekend. And we see y'all next week.
All right. Happy holidays, friends. I'll be parked over in the GMI Discord. Have a great end of the year.
If y'all are around tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be playing games with the High Seas Pirates on X. We host a space. They give away prizes and stuff like that. Just check out my feed. I've posted about it earlier on X. Yeah, come through and let's play some games. We'll probably play some Smash Carts. I don't know if Dropped is open, but maybe we'll mess around with that. Yeah, and happy holidays to everyone.
Later, friends. Peace.